Hello and welcome to IRL F2 here for round 10 in Canada. Today I would normally be joined by Lordy. Lordy missed last week, that was Cameron. Today it's going to be Paco Suarez, so hello Paco.
Hello, happy to be here. Well, no, I'm lying, I'm banned for this race, so well, just taking the chance, to be alongside you today and cover Lordy spot.
Yeah, of course, today the championship can be decided by Adrian. Of course, if he outscores Jared Fosbury, I'm still kind of doing it out. I'm fairly sure it's either 14 or 15 points. I will certainly have that for you by the end of quali at least. Right now, Sean Mayer going provisional polls, 9.1. Obviously, only 3 people setting times. Not the best turnout today, which obviously isn't great, especially when a championship can be decided, but maybe it makes it a little easier for Jared to score points, so I guess he won't be complaining so much. Dominic Hurley second was a 9.4. No one in the 8s at the moment, but I'm sure they're going to break into the 8s. People like Adrian, and I'm sure Jared, if he's done enough sweating for today, as he certainly should sweat for today. If he has, then maybe he could do it as well, but yeah, certainly I don't think he's going to take it lying down, Jared Fosbury.
Well, at the moment Jared has set a 109.9, although with mediums. Quite a weird tire to start off with. I mean, probably with the low turnout, I don't know if he will try to get into the top 10 with the mediums and start from there. We have to remember, everyone, that on Canada it's a 2-stop, basically, as we can see finally, as you said. 108.4 done by Tom Jewell in the Alpha Tauri, which is actually quite a competitive time. And well, you were racing yesterday in F1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
What sort of times were there yesterday in the top tier?
Jeez, I can't quite remember. I myself didn't end up doing a second lap. Of course, the earlier part was intermediate conditions, but I'm fairly sure Matthew ended up with like a 7.2 on the mediums. He put himself second. Lewis took the pole by only like half a tenth, but for this tier, I mean, an 8.4 by Tom Jewell earlier on in the session, I'd say they should be able to break into the 7s, like high 7s, I'd say, but I'd say it's possible, especially with the top guys like Kieran Spears, Alan Wagner as well. The two McLarens always tend to do well. Obviously they were reserves, they joined a bit late, but they've certainly proven they could have been up there from the start of the season, and well, I guess we'll see how they're going to be able to do today. Right now, Kieran, well, actually both of them on that laps right now, so I guess we'll see how well they'll be able to do.
Well, right now Adrian Strom is the one finishing a lap. He is on the back straight, I mean on the last straight before the finish line, and someone crossed the finish line. I think it was the team Rusta Lines who was able to set almost a 109.4. It was a 399. Really solid lap, although he can improve a lot still, and we can see Adrian Strom 12 thousandths of a second behind the Alfa Romeo, which not a bad lap in the end.
Yeah, not too bad at a 9.4 on the mediums. Getting himself deep enough into the top 10, might end up keeping that lap. I guess we'll see by the end of the session. Right now though, the two Alpha Tauris actually putting themselves up there. Of course, Tom Jewell took the win 2 weeks ago in France. Quite a good win. He didn't cross the line in first. Obviously you were one of them actually contesting it for that win as well, but he's put it on provisional pole today as well, on course certainly for his third, if he can keep it, that is. Of course, Adrian Villarreal hasn't set a lap yet. Maybe he's not going to, as he hasn't left the pits in the first 6-7 minutes of this qualifying session, so maybe he's looking to do an alternate strategy, although if it is even much of an alternate strategy, maybe there's rain, maybe that's what he's thinking of, but I'd say there'd probably be a few more people on the mediums if that was the case.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure with only 12 drivers, I think there's gonna be a fight at the end of qualifying to see who tries to qualify on mediums into the top 10. I think there's gonna be a couple of drivers who are gonna start and to try and start on that tire, which will be interesting for sure. But with 9 minutes remaining right now, we have quite a chill qualifying session at the moment, with Tom Jewell being the only one to set a 108.4, while Wagner, or Wagner, however you say it, in third place, with McLaren being able to set a 109 flat, quite close from Dominic in the same tire. Quite surprised that the McLaren driver was not able to get that time into the 108s. Quite surprised.
Yeah, obviously Tom Jewell the only one in the 8s, interestingly, but I'm sure that should change. Actually, looking at it though, an 8.4 is it's a pretty good lap, you can say. Obviously, he's taken a dominant pole position before in France, namely. Maybe he could do it again today. Maybe he's done a little more sweating than I am aware of. I'm not sure if you've been in the parties more than me, but well, I mean, he's doing well right now anyway. Alan Wagner right now is looking to improve on his time, and he's going to improve. An 8.5 almost beats Tom Jewell to provisional pole position, but can't do it. About a tenth out, actually, almost exactly a tenth between the two in first and second. So Tom Jewell's gonna hold off for another lap at least.
And Jared, who fitted in the softs to do a lap, Soundbar got damage on the right end, not left end plate actually. No, right. Yeah, it's right end plate, my bad. So not a good start by the Renault, who at the moment is currently sitting in 10th with the medium compound, but for sure we'll try to improve that lap. Meanwhile, Adrian Villarroel, if I'm not mistaken, with that surname, hasn't set a lap. Will he be looking to start in last position?
Could possibly be the case. Maybe he's trying to keep fresher tyres for the end of this qualifying session, as actually I've just seen Tom Jewell going for a lap, trying to improve on his time. He got a little bit of slipstream from his teammate Timber Stalins, of course, going down the back straight, and is actually purple in Sector 2, just up on his time, 300s, basically 400s up on his time, so it's not a huge improvement, but certainly an improvement nonetheless. If he's going to be able to take the chicane well enough, we might be able to see him extend his gap at the front, as I think that was Sean O'Sullivan going a little bit quicker. Tom Jewell's going to invalidate, and he's not going to be able to improve. What would he have said though as he crosses the line? Yeah, he would have. I mean, maybe not as fast. Of course, he did cut the corner, but Jared is. That's not good.
Brilliant, and we don't know who the host is at the moment, so hopefully the session won't glitch, but that's not ideal. Let's see what happened to the Renault driver, if his internet went out, if he just lagged out. We'll have to wait and see. I'm gonna actually keep an eye on the comment section or on Discord, because he'll probably say something about what just happened. As we can see, F3, it's in heavy rain conditions, so interesting qualifying session. Oh, and Jared is on wheel.
That's interesting.
Yeah, he's saying he's not winning. I have to say, nothing against him, but giving up when you still have tactics on the championship, you know, not the right mentality to have. I remember when I was actually fighting against him in the title, I knew it was lost because he had a big gap compared to me. But hey, I never gave up. I was still trying until the last round. But I guess it's just the way different people think. As we can see, Kieran just ahead of his teammate, setting a 108.513, which is 40 thousandths of a second, well, 45 to be exact, faster than his teammate. So McLaren teammates are quite close between each other. So I think that will be decided on the final run.
Yeah, I think it will be. They do tend to be quite close. Of course, it helps each other out. Of course, they're on the same team. I don't think there's any actual communication between the two. I did actually ask about that. I don't think they communicate between each other. The same with Adrian Villarreal and his teammate as well. Although I think there is a bit of respect between them that they would move out of the way if it was the better thing to do. So there is that level of respect there, I guess. But certainly putting both cars up there is going to be helping them out. Tom Jewell on pole position still with his 0.4, hasn't been able to improve on it yet. Of course, his final run, we will see if he's able to. Adrian Lennon right now is on a lap, currently 8th. Of course, his previous lap was on the mediums, so I guess we'll see how well he can do now on this set of soft tyres, as he's going to be finishing up at Sector 1, a 10th up on his medium time. Apparently purple in Sector 1, not sure how true that is, of course, with this game. It'll tell you that anything's purple when it's not. So going through now, this right-left chicane, really got to use the curbs a little bit more than that, I think. Wasn't as aggressive as maybe he could have been, and this is looking like his final run. He is up on his time at least, as he's a 10th and a half up.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad, but certainly he'll need a little bit more of an improvement.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it could be much better, and to be honest, taking into account he's currently sitting on 8th, I don't know why he would try to improve. I mean, he's in a nice position to start on mediums. He could have even tried, to improve his time with the mediums. But anyways, crossing the finish line, 108.9, which is enough to be 4th. Just ahead of Sean, which is, I mean, as I said, there are plenty of drivers that between each other are quite close. So, interesting time set by the English driver in the racing point.
Yes, certainly, as now Sean is going to be, well, the other Sean, 2 Seans in the Williams, Sean Mayer, of course.
We could say to the other Sean, Shawnee, just because of his PSN. Little Sean.
Well, I'm pretty sure they are both Irish as well, or at least Sean Mayer is certainly Irish. Sean O'Sullivan, I think it's like Irish or Jersey. I'm not sure. I think he uses Jersey a bit more, but I'm fairly sure Ollie's told me he's kind of both. Maybe his mum is Irish or dad, whatever the situation is. But if there is, then it's they're both called Sean and they're both Irish in the same team, which is maybe a little confusing. But he's going to be finishing up his lap. Sean Mayer, this is in the Williams as he opens up DRS. A few more people going to be finishing up their laps. Adrian Villarreal has indeed gone out for a lap, currently on his out lap on the soft tyres, so we'll be able to see how well he can do. Tom Jewell surely will be improving up to P5 for Sean Mayer, goes ahead of his teammate with an 8.9, actually very similar lap times between the 2 Seans as well. I'm gonna go on board with Adrian Villarreal. Actually, he's off track. Interesting. Maybe not then. If it's gonna let me pick someone, it's there we go.
Oh yeah, with 30 seconds remaining, I don't think he will have time to get into the. So he will start last.
Tom Jewell is going to cross the line. He's invalidated though, so he's not going to be able to improve. Kieran Spears now is going to be. Well, actually, no, he's not going to be next to cross the line. As Dominic Hurley's going to be just before him. He's invalidated, so it is going to be the McLaren driver next to set a valid lap through the final chicane. Takes it quite nicely as he's going to be approaching the line. He's well used to being up there, and he's going to improve, I think, but just not enough to put him on pole position. His teammate now crosses the line. He puts it on provisional pole position with an 8.3. Someone else is going across the line. Sean Mayer across the line for a second lap, I think.
His teammate is a 1 on a lap. Right now, his teammate is a 1 on a lap. He's on the long straight just before the Wheel of Champions. He was improving marginally on the second sector, I believe. So let's see if that's the third sector is good enough to be ahead of his teammate. A really good run, I have to say, through the final chicane. Crossing the finish line right now, and it's a 108.8, which is enough to get up to fourth. 2,000? No, actually, okay. I was quite optimistic there. 1,100 or 1/10 ahead of Storm. Bye bye.
Yeah, and now next across the line, Dominic Hurley, but he's going to invalidate in the final chicane as well. Looks like he went for a consecutive lap there, I think. But no avail as he doesn't improve. Now Jared Fosbury is going to be finishing up his lap, but it's invalid, so it is going to be Alan Wagner as he crosses the line for the second time, because people are taking a while to finish their laps, but he is on pole position, gets ahead of Tom Jewell, who set that lap earlier on in the session, had provisional pole for most of it, but just caught at the end, wasn't able to improve himself. Kieran Spears obviously in third, two McLarens, a 1-3, so they're setting themselves up very nicely for this race, as Sean O'Sullivan in fourth, Adrian Lennon I think was fifth, and then his teammate, Sean's teammate in sixth, Sean Mayer. So I'll just keep going down here. Then Dominic Hurley in seventh, Rhys March eighth, Timber Salins puts it in ninth, and then rounding out the top 10, Jared Fosbury, really not what he needed. Of course, he is on the mediums though, so not the worst situation. Adrian Villarreal didn't end up setting a lap, interestingly, and I can't quite remember who it is. Sullivan. It's Sullivan something, I think, so it's going to be easiest to just say Sullivan, just to get it. Solo Sullivan Jr. is his full name, so I guess Sullivan will do there. But yeah, the two title rivals, 10th and 12th, right at the back of the grid.
Yeah, although we have to take into account that Jared is racing on wheel, which will make his race quite difficult, to be honest. His pace isn't great on wheel, so we'll have to wait and see how things go. But to be honest, imagine if Sassy Pickle crashed on the first laps. Would actually Jared try and go on pad, to try and seek a podium which maybe could allow him, to get back into that title fight, but I don't know. Anyways, dry conditions as well for the race, so I believe Adrian and Jared will start for sure on mediums. But still, we'll have to wait and see until formation lap to see what strategy are they following.
Well, Jared qualified in the top 10, so he will be on mediums.
He was on top 10. Top 10, exactly. Oh, yeah. Never mind.
No, that's fine. Obviously, Adrian Villarreal, his strategy won't be known until we start. Maybe he'll be planning a one-stop. You never know. Of course, as everyone loads up, we'll be able to see what tyres people are on. As, mediums for Adrian Villarreal. So the two championship leaders, if you want to put it like that, two rivals right at the back of the grid, both on the same strategy, everyone else on the soft. So if their strategies work out for both of them, then they might find themselves fighting for the higher positions. But obviously Adrian does need to outscore Jared by 4. It's kind of a specific circumstances. If Jared Fosbury took the win today, then obviously you would keep it. I don't know why I said that. If Adrian Villarreal won today and outscored Jared Fosbury by the 14 points that he needs, then he would take the championship on wins, because Jared Fosbury wouldn't be able to get back enough, because then it would finish 4-3 on wins, which obviously would go in Adrian's favour. If Adrian didn't get a win today, it's a little bit different, because if he doesn't get a win, he needs to outscore him by 15 points to guarantee a championship, because the 14 without a win will put them equal. In terms of second places, just to make sure that I'm not wrong, Adrian with 2 second places and Jared Fosbury with 1. So on second places, that would go to Adrian, and then in that case, well, Adrian was still in. So there's the kind of championship situation. Basically, Jared really needs to not get outscored, or the championship is pretty much as good as done. So a little bit of pressure on Jared Fosbury, and we'll see how he handles it, of course, starting from 10th today.
Yeah, everyone getting into their grid spot. I believe Adrian is gonna win, to be honest. I have a feeling. I think he's just gonna smash everyone. Hopefully it won't happen, but I think it's what's gonna happen. Anyways, everyone in their grid spot, so the red light will start going up soon.
So 5 red lights here in Canada. And it's lights out and away we go, and it looks like the 2 McLarens got off to a pretty good start. They're going to be leading into turn 1, it seems, unless Tom Jewell can do anything on the inside for turn 2. As Dominic apparently has damage to Williams on the inside of the racing point of Adrian Lennon there. Side by side going through turns 3, and the Williams is going to come out on top. And well, it looks like I can't actually tell right now with the timing screens, but Alan Wagner is leading in front of his teammate Kieran Spears. Tom Jewell dropping to 3rd. In terms of the championship fight though, Adrian Villarreal up to 10th, Jared Fosbury losing position down to 11th.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to get a good start, but yeah, we can see Sassy is just much better on pad than Garrett on wheel, so nothing that the Renault driver can do. And meanwhile, I mean, I have to say Dominic went quite optimistic on the brakes on that first corner. That's why he got damaged, and we can see he's now struggling, losing a lot of positions. He'll probably go into the pits on this lap.
Yeah, up front, actually, it looks like Tom Jewell's had a pretty good exit here. On the back of Kieran Spears. Yeah, Tim and Dominic into the pit lane, so obviously, as you said, Dominic was maybe a bit aggressive into turn 1, came away with damage, obviously. Sullivan also into the pit lane, so 3 people having to pit on lap 1, which certainly isn't what they needed. Tom Jewell, though, obviously lost a position on the start. He is keeping with the 2 McLarens in 1st and 2nd right now. Looks like they're kind of pulling a little bit of a gap visually. Certainly there's a bit of a distance between the top 3 and then the fight for 4th there. Obviously just about still within DRS range, the Williams, so maybe you'll be able to close up once again once DRS is activated, but the top 3 look a little bit quicker than the rest of the grid right now.
Yeah, definitely, but I have to say Tommy is hanging up, well, holding on there quite well, and I would think that the McLarens would have pulled away already, but he's still in that DRS range, and that from now when they cross the finish line, DRS will be enabled, so it will be quite helpful to Tom. As we can see Kieran setting the fastest lap at the moment, and meanwhile behind we have Adrian on mediums, quite close from Reisman, which I wouldn't be surprised if he makes the move on this lap with DRS. And meanwhile, Jared, surprisingly, he's holding on to DRS range, so he's trying to keep up with the Haas.
Yeah, he certainly is, and I mean, he's doing it well. He's obviously not in front of the Haas, which I'm sure he would love to be in front right now to try and close the gap as much as he can right now. 42 points, obviously, quite the task, but it is possible. Obviously, the race isn't over yet. The championship isn't decided until everyone crosses the line, and obviously, if they cross the line in a certain in a certain order, then the championship will go on to round 11. So right now, Adrian Villarreal on the back of Reece March doesn't look like he's going to be able to make a move going into the chicane, as the top guys stayed pretty much as is, as they have actually got a bit of a gap. As Johnny. The Williams, yeah, Sean Mayer into the pits there, very early stop for him, and Adrian Villarreal again can't make the move on the Mercedes, and he's going to have to stick behind for at least another lap.
Yeah, we can see Mr. Sullivan, who was currently on last position. He has left the session. Probably he locked out or something. Not the best race for him, so wouldn't be surprised if he just rage quit it. But meanwhile, we can see team getting just ahead of the Williams. So yeah, Sean is gonna be in between Dominic and Tim, just 1.9 behind the German driver.
Yeah, just keeping an eye on what's happening up front. Looks like Tom Jewell is just about hanging on, but there you go, actually, he has lost DRS. He might get lucky and have DRS for this straight at least. As no, he doesn't. The two McLarens have actually gapped him successfully. There's Adrian Lennon, actually. I thought you were talking about Villarreal, but yeah, Adrian making a move on Sean O'Sullivan there for 4th place, and back there's a yellow flag somewhere. Is there?
Tom.
It is actually Tom.
Well,
round in the final corner.
It's Tom.
Wing damage as well. Obviously, he was trying to chase down the two McLarens. Not exactly possible anymore, as he's now down to 8th. His teammate not too far off, and I'm sure he's going to be making moves. That wing looks very, very odd. They just perfectly lost the end plates on either side the exact same way, which I guess makes it equal, but certainly takes away a lot of downforce on that car. So
and
yeah, it does look a little bit funny. It's just like a plank.
Yeah. I mean, he could perfectly just get rid of that, because I mean, for what the function they're doing, I don't think it's useful. But anyways, I have to say the Mercedes from Reisman, well, the only Mercedes that is on track today, is actually doing a really good effort to keep Adrian Villarreal behind, and that's allowing Jared to keep up with the Haas driver, being able to keep himself in that DRS zone. So if the Haas really wants to go for this race, he has to make the overtake soon, because he's losing a lot of time.
Yeah, he really is. 2.6 seconds up the road, Sean O'Sullivan from recent March, and that gap is only getting bigger as every lap that he stays behind the Mercedes. As Tim Mercedes, is they making? No, he's not. That's just Tom Jewell pitting for his wing damage.
And Jared picked up a 3-second time penalty, so that's 4 drivers currently with the time penalty, all for track extending or corner cutting, which actually helps the point that Canada, it's a track where it's really easy to get penalties, to be honest.
Yeah, for the lead though, it looks like the two McLarens are getting a little bit closer. DRS open for Kieran Spears as he continues to follow his teammate. I'm not sure if they're kind of planning to not fight each other, but Kieran Spears certainly following very closely to his teammate, as Adrian Villarreal, I think, is making the move now, finally going through the chicane and up into 5th place. Adrian Lennon to pits as well, yeah. Now will Jared Fosbury try and make the move? He is actually closing into turn 1. He's going to have to dive it a little bit, and he is going to do so.
Good dive bomb.
Yeah, really, really nice move. He had to make the move as well, as his title rival made the move a few moments ago. He had to make that as soon as possible, and he did down the inside of turn 1, as he can continue to chase after Adrian Villarreal in the Haas.
That's what he needed to do. He's just on that DRS range, hopefully. I mean, we have to say, nothing against Jared again, but Canada is a wheel track, and despite his pace is not good on wheel, the fact he's on wheel could give him, you know, a little bit of advantage compared to Adrian. So he should be able to keep on that DRS zone compared to the Haas driver, although we can see that Sassy is catching quite rapidly to Sean, who is currently on 3rd. Probably those softs.
Oh, actually, side by side almost. I have to say there, between the two McLarens, Kieran Spears did actually get alongside his teammate going into the chicane, but actually pit last minute. So he's going to be trying to undercut his teammate now. On go the medium tyres. Now, where is he going to come out? It looks like he's going to at least get some clean air, as he's just ahead of Sean O'Sullivan also going into the pits. He hasn't actually served this up, as they're on go mediums for him as well. So out of the pits for him, he's going to be just ahead of Adrian Lennon there as he emerges in fourth. So this is an undercut strategy for Kieran Spears on his teammate. His teammate would presumably be coming in now this next lap. With clean air, Kieran Spears should be able to take the lead, but if he does or not, I guess we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, here in Canada, the undercut works quite well, so I would say Kieran's teammate has lost the position already. As we can see, another driver picks up a 3-second time penalty. This time it's a German in the AlphaTauri. Quite a lot of penalties. I believe everyone who has gotten a penalty, it's 3 seconds. I don't think anyone else has gotten... Well, Jared actually has 6 already. So yeah, Jared probably saying bye-bye to his title chances with a 6-second time penalty.
Yeah, into the pits for Alan Wagner now. Of course, right after the lap after his teammate going in. His teammate now is going down the pit straight as he crosses the line. It's certainly going to be close between the two. Round turn 1 for Kieran Spears, and it looks like he has got ahead of his teammate. He certainly has, and his teammate is going to have to emerge in 4th place. Clean air for both of them. Luckily, no cars in between them to hinder their fight, as now out of the DRS range. So Kieran Spears pulling off a very nice undercut strategy. Easily could have gone badly though. Of course, they were side by side in the chicane. Adam Wagner could have easily decided he wanted to pit that lap as well, and could have ended up with a double stack or something along those lines. So
or a crash.
Yeah, it certainly could have been a crash into the pit lane. Luckily for them, neither of them have. Neither of them with the penalty either, and they can continue to fight for this race lead.
Yeah, and at the moment I have to say that plenty of penalties. I mean, only 4 drivers currently without penalties, and one of them is the AI basically. So quite interesting scenario by the end of the race as Jared Fosbury adds another penalty to his final count with a 9-second time penalty currently, which is insane. And Kieran having no mercy and setting a 111.3, which actually, like, the gap 1.6, quite solid gap to his teammate.
Yeah, it certainly is. Of course, it'll also, what this does, give Kieran Spears the first choice in the pit stops if he can keep a bit of a gap. Of course, Adam Wagner had it on the first stint, but Kieran Spears said, no thank you, I'm gonna pit first, and he did so. That's why he is leading now. And he will be able to pit first again. Of course, with the older tires, he'll kind of want to be the first one in. So for his sake, he'll be hoping that he can stay ahead as he closes up now to Jared Fosbury. The gap between them, 2.5 seconds, actually 2 seconds now. Kind of closer to as the gap rapidly decreases between the two. Jared Fosbury on those old mediums, of course, and then 3 seconds up the road, Adrian Villarreal, as you can see him in the background there, just ahead of Jared Fosbury in the distance.
Yeah, I have to say, Jared Fosbury's pace wasn't that bad. He was able to keep up with Adrian for some laps. Probably it was because of the traffic, but he has fallen down. Well, the gap has fallen down to 3.2. No, actually has risen up to 3.2 at the moment. So the pace doesn't look great at the moment by the Renault driver, which, as you said earlier, is being caught quite rapidly by Kieran. I don't know if Jared will try to defend, but if he does, that could be a perfect chance for the other McLaren to try and catch his teammate.
Yeah, it could be, but I think he's going to catch him at the right point. Of course, through the chicane, right up the back of him, you can see how much more grip his tires have. As he's already this close, he could do it without DRS almost, as opening up the DRS flap side by side with Jared Fosbury, and he's going to be able to make this move before the chicane and gets ever closer to Adrian Villarreal, who's currently leading this race. Of course, haven't made a pit stop yet.
And yeah, well, the number of drivers that didn't get a penalty now reduces to 2. So Kieran and Adrian will be the ones probably fighting for the win, as we can see the other McLaren, Wagner, taking a 3-second time penalty, and currently behind Jared. So yeah, what can I say about Jared? I mean, during the whole season he has been the most consistent driver, I have to say. Despite being second, not ahead of Sassi, we have to say he has been the most consistent, because let's be honest, he didn't have the speed. He didn't have that, you know, raw speed that maybe Tom, Adrian, or even Kieran have. But he was able, you know, to keep up the results. You know, he was able to get podiums, because I remember the first 5 races he was the only driver keeping up with the podium, consecutive podiums. And right now,
that was actually the first 6 rounds that he got podium consecutively. Since Austria, it hasn't quite worked out for him as well, as he hasn't got a podium since, as of course goes.
Since the penalty he got after Austria. I mean, in Austria he already he got a bad result, but then he got that penalty onto France, which costed him that. I think he finished P4, but by the penalties he finished P8 or P7, I believe. So yeah, I think it was after that race. You know, it was in Austria, as you said, the turning point. You know, in his season, because he was actually ahead of Adrian. Oh, and we can see Jared having some, well, as I can see, because I was on his on board, he was having some trouble to keep the car straight. But yeah, unfortunately, I have to say probably the season, the turning point was on Austria. You know, after that, the penalty that he carried onto France, the race he had after France in Japan. In Japan, no.
Yeah,
actually, was it in Japan?
In Japan he actually ended up winning that race, which is the first point he led the championship. Then Austria, he had a DNF. France, he had that penalty. In Brazil, he actually had another DNF. So
that's what killed his chances. Yeah, I mean, Brazil, France, it was not the way to go. I think he did what he could, because despite not having, you know, that raw pace, as I said earlier, he was the most consistent one.
At the back though, Kieran Spears on the back of Adrian Villarreal. 3-second penalty again for Jared Fosbury. The McLaren driver isn't going to be able to make a move at this point, but you can see actually the grip, so much more grip going through the left-hander, as side by side now as
I believe. That could be a big chance.
Yeah, it looked like Adrian did lift off there. Obviously trying to get to DRS. If it worked or not, we'll see. He didn't.
But the DRS is earlier. The DRS is quite earlier.
It is quite a bit earlier. So he tried, but didn't work, as Kieran Spears is going to retake the lead of this race. Alan Wagner, I think, is going to be able to make a move maybe into turn 1, as he's going to be closing.
He will have to dive in.
He will certainly. Maybe a similar move to Jared Fosbury on the inside. And pretty much carbon copy move on the inside of the Haas driver. Maybe a little more side by side in the earlier stages. And the McLarens retake their 1-2 lead.
Although I have to say, Sassi staying this much on track, will he try to go on hards? Because he cannot go on mediums. And he has been already 15 laps on these tires. Is he trying the one-stop? He will try the undercut on the hards. Quite interesting strategy carried out by Adrian, because I don't think he's doing a two-stop unless he fits 2 soft tires, or I don't know.
Yeah, that is certainly a good point. Usually, I think if you start on mediums, you'd go like a 12, 13, yeah. And then you can go 10 laps on the end on softs.
You can go 18 laps on mediums, but the fact he's staying out.
He goes now on lap 15, of course. So we'll see what he'll put on.
Will be soft now.
Jared Fosbury will actually re-overtake him. Of course, Jared Fosbury still hasn't pit yet.
Hards. One stop.
Yeah, on go the hard. So Adrian Villarreal is trying a one-stop. We'll see if Jared Fosbury is going to be trying the same thing, which you would presumably think he is, unless he's going to do a soft to the end and try and change it up to try and beat Adrian, which certainly could be a thing he does. As there is 19 odd laps left, so he could split it between the two.
I must say, quite surprised by Adrian's strategy, because I know it was at the start of the game, which probably it was quite different to the game we have now, but I remember Sean Resor how in another league, I believe it was in the same track, going to Hearts, which surprisingly worked better than what he thought, but the tires, he said, it felt
here
horrible.
comes Adrian Lennon on the back of Jared Fosbury. Looks like Jared's actually using quite a bit of ERS, though. I don't think it's going to be too easy. He's not going to be able to make the move quite yet into the chicane. At least he's going to have to stick behind for a little bit longer. It's through the chicane, and you can see kind of dancing around on the exit, kind of sliding around, and he's not actually going to be able to make the move on Jared Fosbury. Jared surely using a lot of ERS, as you can see. He has probably about 15% left there. But he's going to be able to stay ahead for a little bit longer. It's actually down the inside the racing point. I'm not really sure. It was a bit of a bad angle. I think he tried it down the inside or something there.
No, he didn't try. I mean, he went on the grass because he had a really good exit. He tried to have the move on Jared. He went on the inside. You see, here again, the racing point having a good exit. But somehow he's not able to get that speed. Oh, watch out, trying round the outside, but Jared defending quite hard despite 16 lap on mediums. But yeah, the racing point having really good exits on the corners, but somehow Jared just using the whole length of the track. Oh, when he has contact there, I don't know if that caused damage to the racing point. But anyways, I think this will be it right now. As the racing point goes
on the outside, and there he is through. And Jared Fosbury, now you can see in the background, has got a little bit of traffic to contend to, as they'll all be looking for a move on Jared Fosbury. Reese Marsh, the two Williams, I think, were momentarily side by side with each other, or maybe that was Dominic Hurley just kind of getting out of the way. I think that's probably more likely. But he's got a train of cars now. He's held up Adrian a little bit, but 4 more cars is a little bit more of an ask. Well,
another
3.
3-second time penalty for Jared. I bet he's gonna get disqualified before the end of the race, because at this rate, I mean, 15 seconds time penalty. We are just halfway through the race. If he gets 15 more, probably that will be disqualified. As we can see the Merc now. You know, that's the way you have to do it, Adrian. Look at the Merc, quite without any hesitations, you know. And it will be now both of the Williams' turn. We'll have to see if they get a good run through the hairpin. Jared this time will have TRS, which will help him to try and keep up the position. And will he stop though? Oh, I think he's making a bit stop because he has lifted off.
He's not. He's kind of just let him through. It was quite a big lift off as well. Unnecessary to lift off as much as he did. If he wanted to let them through, he didn't have to do it that significantly either.
I don't understand, because he defended quite a lot to Adrian Storm. Well, to Adrian Lennon, actually. You know, making really big defensive moves, and he has now lifted off to let both Williams by. What's the point? I mean, I don't know what he's trying. He has now Adrian behind. I hope he doesn't try anything crazy, because we already know how Jared's temper is. But I don't know what he's trying to do.
I don't really know either. Fighting a racing point and then letting 2 Williams through a lap later, it's a little bit odd.
No, he doesn't.
Yeah, and here comes the Haas now. Of course, he was 3 seconds behind, roughly. I think he's hoping for a safety car, if anything. But again, like, why let him through if you were hoping for a safety car? You gain more if there was a safety car. So there's really no rhyme or reason to the decision there, from what I can see. But
I think he's gonna try and block Sassy as much as he can, but I don't see the point on him trying that. But we'll have to wait and see.
Yeah, I mean, again. Oh no, round he goes out of this Grand Prix.
No doubts. Virtual safety car.
If you wanted a safety car, obviously, well, he got one, but he's not here to use it. So, Jared Fosbury now out of this race. All Adrian Villarreal has to do is get third, and he will take the championship. And Jared just
third, but right now everyone ahead of him have a chance to make the pit stop, a free pit stop, because with you can see both McLaren, you know, they know that if they didn't make that pit stop, they would lose a lot of time. So we can see double stacking, and that actually will make Adrian's race more difficult. So I don't want to be pessimistic, or to think things that I shouldn't think. But
yeah, actually, could Adrian Villarreal get out ahead of?
No,
and he has actually out of Alan Wagner, only just.
Yeah. The double stack that's the cost of double stacking. But I mean, I don't know. We all know that the relationship between Adrian and Jared is not the best one. So that VSC didn't help Adrian at all, who I would say he had the race won probably, because he lost quite a lot to Kieran now. But yeah,
I'm not sure if he necessarily had the race won, because the McLarens did have a bit of a gap, and they'd come out on fresh tyres.
Not won, but Kieran had a
title won, I think is fair to say.
No, yeah, title, yeah, but I believe Kieran has a 3-second time penalty. He probably gained, and we can see the McLaren passing by quite quickly. I mean, nothing that Adrian can do. But yeah, 3 seconds, and what he lost with the BSC, what Kieran gained actually. I believe it was 8 seconds.
Okay, Jared wants a... Well, no, the stream is the one. Jared wants an invite to the party.
Okay, I'll give it to him. I mean, if he sucks, I don't know when we have done it, but I guess he's an admin, so I guess there are some exceptions. He'll probably explain what happened, but I don't know why we are giving invites to someone who didn't get that. But anyways, let me search him. Oh wait, I don't have him added anymore.
Oh.
I'll have to search his PSN
then. It looks pretty spread out now, in terms of tracks. What? On track battles, I should have said. But I don't know.
Are you drunk?
Yes.
Okay, that explains everything.
But yeah, no battles really on the track. Of course, the two McLarens were giving us a bit of fighting earlier on, but 9 seconds down between them. That is what a double stack does on this game. It shouldn't, but it is what it is. So yeah, it's just Codemasters.
And we have Jared in the party. I mean, if you wanted to say anything, you're right to say it.
I know. Just bad racing it. That's why it's on you boys. See how the job's done.
Well, to be honest, we were not in the need for a bottler, but hey.
Yeah, tire pop.
Oh wait, that actually makes perfect sense. I didn't even consider that.
The left rear popped. I was going to go for medium to soft. I was just racing for fun today anyway. So.
Yeah, right. What you were trying didn't make sense at all. I mean, trying to stretch the tires you were trying to do.
I was actually praying for a safety car as well, though. So.
Yeah, that is what we kind of thought you were hoping in a way, but obviously that that didn't happen, and well, your tire
Tom.
popped. So
Tom and Sean, by the way. Tom getting overtaken by, well, or maybe not. He will have to wait for turn 1.
Well, I do have some inside information on Tom. He's apparently making a pit stop in the next 2 laps. So,
well, I mean, you would expect it. The tires can't go too long, as you know all too well. But yeah, he's gonna have to try and keep Sean behind for a little bit longer. You would be expecting him in about now, 18 laps old on those medium tires. Of course, should be able to take softs to the end from here, as long as they're fresh. Maybe a used set would be a little off, but yeah, here we go with the Sean's exit much better on the back of the AlphaTauri. Not going to be able to make it into this chicane, but through the chicane, a little superior grip maybe into the hairpin, as you can see so much closer.
I think he'll wait for after the hairpin. I don't think he's going to risk it.
And he's going to do just that. A little bit of a lock-up from Tom, I think, as well.
I thought he was going to do a dive bomb, but in the end, he didn't, so thanks God. But yeah, look at that, how easy with DRS and slipstream. Easy overtake done on Tom. And it might be the time for Tom to go into the pits, but we'll have to wait and see. No, he stays.
Not going to be going into the pits yet. I mean, the tires are getting quite old, but I mean, if he wants to be out on them, it's every right to be. I guess.
Puncture.
Yeah.
I never know. Could be a left rear again, as he's losing a bit of the rear end.
Don't lie, guys. I mean, both of you were trying to bring out a safety car. Tommy's trying.
I don't cheat. To be fair though, Sassy, where Sassy is, I know he just got a penalty. Is he champion then?
At the he's on course to do so.
If he stays third, he's the champion.
Oh, GG on him then.
Yeah, he needed a 14-point gap, so he's right where he needs to be.
Well, he could have gotten a P2, even he could have fought actually Kieran, but someone caused a PSC, which affected his race. Coincidence?
Blame Pirelli.
When he gets a party, he will be talking about, you know, conspirations and all that, but
I just wanted to join you actually. That's all.
Actually, conspiracies theories. No,
conspiracy.
Yeah, in Spanish it's conspiración, so I thought it would be quite similar to English, but it's not.
Into the pits, as we were saying, Tom Jewell putting on the soft tires and out in 9th place, so he's going to be going for a fastest lap, maybe going to be looking for a bit of a fight with his AlphaTauri teammate of Tim Brustadens, as he's only 4 seconds up the road.
I don't want to inflate my ego. I mean, there's no intention on this, but I think from my personal view on this subject that I'm about to have an opinion on, is that I think I could have been fighting Kieran. I mean, I'm not trying to be sassy. I'm not trying to be...
Right, it's not a... Did you really just do that pun?
I mean, it was a good one. You have to admit it. But yeah, I think I could have been fighting for the podium, which annoys me more with the race ban and all that. But yeah.
You do make history though. First IRL driver to almost get max penalty points.
It won't happen though. You know, if you want more puns, I could go on, you know. If I have raced, I could have brought more sauce into the rice, you know. This messed up. Or everything could have exploded. Anyways.
I'm not the one.
Yeah, I have to stop. I mean, this is what a boring race can do on someone.
I think you should jump in a well.
Okay.
A duel.
Yeah. Horrible. No, I mean, wouldn't be bad. Yeah, and we can see, I mean, the only thing we could consider like a fight is right now Reisman, you know, just under just under 3-second gap to Adrian Lennon, which could allow him to take fourth. But yeah, ahead I think everything is pretty much decided. Behind, everything
I
is.
think Tom's actually catching Tim. He was 4 seconds. Now he's 2.7.
Yeah. That's
but
kind of what I've been watching. 2.6 seconds now. He's certainly going to catch Tim by the end.
But will he get Sean instead? I mean, that's the thing. Everything is quite decided because I couldn't say it, but yeah, I think Tom will catch Tim in the end. But it won't be like a difficult overtake. Well, actually,
he needs to be in the 3-second window with Sean. So, as long as he's not picking another pen.
I don't know. I don't know. I mean, it's the only ingredient that could add some spicy ending to the race, but I don't think it's gonna change much. But it will, well, looks up a little bit, Tommy to the hairpin.
It's just kind of, I mean, a few more drivers would probably have helped out. I mean, 3 people didn't show up and didn't say anything, so I mean, at most we could have had a. It's actually a good idea, Jared. I'm not gonna lie.
All the guys who said they could make it getting 10 points. Just saying.
That's not an actual thing though at the moment, is it?
It is now. No, it's not, but it will be next year. There's going to be a system.
Yeah. That should definitely be in it.
Oh yeah.
But laps 30 out of 35. We have 5 and a bit laps left. Not really much else. I mean, Adrian is kind of just cruising at this point to his championship, unless Adrian Lennon can do anything about it. The gap there is 3.4 seconds. Adrian is going to be closing the gap all the time to the championship leader at the moment. He hasn't, of course, sealed it yet until he crosses the line. So you might have a little bit of hope, Jared, in Adrian Lennon. So gonna have to be rooting for him now.
Penalty. Adrian Lennon also has an extra penalty. So I want Sass just to take it, to be honest. Not the best season. Let's Sass have it. I think he deserves it, to be honest.
I still believe you should have raced until the end of the season with Pat and try. Do not give up until the end is what I did when we fought for the title. I didn't give up until Matt said the opposite. But I guess it's just the mentality in one person.
Well, no, unfortunately, the agreement with the next season FP is Tim's letting Tom through. Easy. But speaking about Tom, which was part of the negotiations of being teamless next season for FP, he said I should go back wheel, and I thought I'd give it a go. I might as well start practicing now, find a couple rounds. I'm not in a fight for anything, you know, just to get back into it. And I enjoyed it today. It was good, but
I'm gonna add the people already in the chat, because I mean we all know that unless they both.
Oh, in goes Timber Stedden, is there?
Yeah, Stormin getting Sassanama. He's got 9
so he's going to be going for fastest lap now. One of them will actually take it. I mean, or should at least.
The fastest.
Yeah, no, they will, because Sullivan is lagged out, it seems. So they have to finish in top 10.
10.620. Tom's closest is 10.8.
Well, yeah, but like I mean, Timron's fresh softs. Like if he gets it, he'll be able to get the points. That's what I'm saying.
What's the other guy? PSN, the guy in second.
Ecos underscore Y dash company.
Yep, that.
Underscore Y dash. Okay.
I'm positive he has a penalty which carries on.
No. That's Jose, who's not racing today. He's reserved.
Oh.
When he does race again, he'll have a 10-second pen and a quali ban all in once. Yeah, there's them added at least. If one of them crashes, I mean, it's gonna be a little awkward that they've been added, but yeah.
No, but I've got to give it to Kieran. He crossed and Sassy. They've done a good job. Stayed focused, haven't ball.
Like
big
Tom
Jones. Yeah. If the McLarens had been from the beginning, I think it would have been an easy constructors.
Well, I mean, they are. Well, are they? I don't think they're leading it right now, but they're gonna take the lead back.
Actually, let's take the lead back. Let's do quick maths, alright? Right now the gap is 38. No, actually more than 38. It's almost 48 points, not 38. 48 points.
50. Yeah, it's 48.
Yeah, and now 15 plus 43. 43 minus 15. It's 28.
Minus 25.
So 28.
Minus 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're gonna bring the gap down
actually.
to
so
5 and then have it plus. So it's gonna be a 20-point gap after today because Adrian's taking third.
28. I've calculated. It's 28.
Well, the gap is 48 right now, and then they'll.
Oh, plus pole. Wait.
Yeah, plus pole.
Kieran.
Yeah.
Okay, 26.
Well, no, that was actually Alan Wagner who took pole, but yeah, same.
Well,
same
26
team.
is the same. Yeah, 26 then. So the gap is down to 26 now. So I mean, at least we have something going on. You know, it seemed like Renault could take P2, but in the end, they are getting disinflated at the end of the season. They are going down the table. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting, and I have to say, GG to Tom and team. I mean, they are not the quickest team, but hey, they are currently sitting in third, so cheers.
Wait, are you not? Because the gap is 48 points. Yeah, that's correct.
No, right now it's.
Or not?
Oh wait, actually, I don't know how to do
the gap is 48, and then you take away 25. That's 23.
Okay, so
minus 18
16,
is 5.
16.
Minus 2 for pole is 3, and then
16.
minus 1 for fast laps. It's 2 points.
16.
And then plus 15
16.
is 17 points.
No, 16.
No, they have the fastest lap as well, McLaren.
Yeah, McLaren do have the fastest lap.
Yeah, but wait for team. Wait for team.
Well, I mean, yeah, no, you might be right in the future, but in the present, you're not right.
Oh, no, scratch that. Tim just hit the ball.
No, wait. Ah, no, he's actually 1.11. Tim, for one thing you have to do and you don't do it right. Huh.
He crashed into the wall, unfortunately. I've got to say, Tim's been having issues all practice long with that shenanigans penalty.
To be honest, it gets me a lot, the race ban. I could have gotten a good result in Canada. Seeing the situation of the race, of course, and the penalties wise. Yeah, finally, we are on the final lap. Long race, long stints, but finally, it's the end of the race.
Yeah, it finally is. Kieran is looking on course to. Yeah, no, I was thinking that, but yeah. Kieran, of course, after the first stint at least, has led the race pretty much from there in the net lead. His teammate did actually bring the gap down to 3.3 seconds, which is quite impressive, actually, to be fair. The gap in terms of penalties, just to check, yeah, both 3 seconds. So it is going to be Kieran Spears as he rounds the final chicane for the final time. Kieran Spears, as he weaves a little bit, going across the line, is going to take the win in front of the Canadians, and of course his teammate is going to take P2, and McLaren 1-2, bringing the gap down to just 2 points. Well, actually no, plus 15 of course for Adrian Villarreal. So that is Jesus, it's around 15 points the gap. So basically good for McLaren, good day for McLaren. Reece March is going to get promoted up to 4th on penalties, Adrian Lennon down to 5th, and then the two Williams, Sean O'Sullivan, going to be crossing the line in 6th. Sean Mayer going to be following in 7th with a lap to Alfa Romeo just behind him. Tom Jewell then is actually going to beat Sean Mayer and take an extra spot up to P7, and then Tim Mercedes is going to be the final one to take 2 points in 9th. So yeah, with this, certainly one thing's for sure: Adrian Villarreal is the new F2 champion.
Well, GG Tim. Now we're going to do some IRL corruption. He's no longer champion. I'm champion. Yeah. Nah, all jokes. Sassy, well done. Faultless drive.
You know, you could have done corruption early in the week and avoid someone getting a race ban.
I don't like the drivers. We're not having this song and dance routine again.
But yeah, finally, the race is over. I was already struggling. I was already near to a collapse. Actually, the game gave driver of the day to Sassy. Do you all agree?
No.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, he started last, so. Team of the day, though, I'd say McLaren, because they very much dominated this entire race, pretty much. Obviously, finishing with a 1-2, so.
I would actually agree with the game. In my point of view, I would actually say Sassy did agree. It's true that in the end, Kieran won the race, and he did quite a solid race from third in the grid, because we have to remember it was not a 1-2 by McLaren, it was a 1-3 at the start. But Sassy, I mean, starting from the last, you know, with mediums, despite the BSC, he was able to keep himself
just to go through it quickly. Kieran Spears obviously taking the win, his second win this season. Alan Wagner in second, rounding out in McLaren 1-2. Adrian Villarreal in third, Reece March fourth, Adrian Lennon in fifth, Sean O'Sullivan sixth, Tom Jewell seventh, Sean Mayer eighth, Tim Mercedes in ninth, and Dominic Early taking the final point, and then Sullivan a lap down in 11th and in 12th. Yourself, Jared.
That's right. Jared not even able to finish ahead of an AI car. Absolutely shameful from the Renault driver. He should retire.
Oh, they did. He DNF'd. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm just going to add 1 penalty point so he gets a season ban right now.
Keep dreaming.
And there's Alan Wagner in.
Company.
Oh my god.
I'm not sorry.
No, you're not.
Well, joke, thank you. Try to get your mic louder. I mean, we can hear you, but just so everyone can hear you loud and clear, if you can, of course. It doesn't seem like, well.
This better?
Yeah,
that
better.
sounds fine. Now all is right in the world.
I mean, start just with
Yeah.
With the one we have now, and then when they join, we start with them. Easy as that.
Yeah. So obviously, Alan, you took pole today, so that's an extra 2 points for you. But you weren't able to beat your teammate to the win, obviously finishing in second. But in the end, you did actually close the gap a bit, and you did have a nice fight with him. So how was your race?
The race was pretty good, but I wasn't comfortable with my setup, so I constantly slided around a bit, and Kieran then made the undercut work, which was really annoying, and after the VSC I just didn't have a chance. Like, it was so unfortunate to have him right in front of me and then lose so much time. But yeah.
Yeah,
if that wouldn't have happened, I would have overtaken him at the end.
Yeah, just with the with that undercut, were you planning to pit on the same lap, or was your plan always to pit the lap after? Obviously, him then getting the undercut on you. So was there like any thought to pit the lap he did, or?
Originally, I wanted to pit a lap after I actually did. Like, he pitted 2 laps before I wanted to.
Oh, okay. Well then, yeah, obviously you had a little bit of a fight with him then, which obviously Kieran ended up coming out on top in the end. I mean, there's not really all that much to say. After the virtual safety car, which was unfortunate, you did end up catching quite a bit. In the end, of course, he took his second win of the season. Could have been your second win, in a way, but that's how it goes sometimes. But next week then is Monza, the Temple of Speed. So how do you think you could do around there?
Pretty good, actually. I won on Friday in Italy, so that should be good.
Okay, then congratulations on your P2 and good luck for next week.
Thank you.
And I'll let you take Adrian, then Paco.
Can I do it in Spanish? Okay. I'll do it in English. Hello, Sassy.
Get a translator?
Hello.
Myself. Well, you could try, but yeah. First of all, congratulations. You've already won the championship with this result. So first of all, how does it feel to have won the championship?
Feels like amazing. It feels like a relief. Sort of just like justifies the practice, everything that I was able to do this season. Usually before like every race. It also like makes my mistakes feel a little bit less important because at the end it was enough to win. So yeah, I'm very happy. Also, obviously, GG's to Jared for the championship fight. He's a very good driver. He's a very consistent driver, and you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he wins his own championship in the future. And yeah, just very happy. Thank you, guys.
Today, I mean, it wasn't the easiest race. The BSC, we could say, screwed your race over. Did you think that with a one stop you could have gotten the win, or was it the 2 stop much faster than what you thought?
No, I think I was just aiming for the podium because I classified way too far the McLarens. I think I probably could have qualified in the top 10 with the mediums, but I just completely messed it up. And yeah, the VSC didn't help, but I think they were just too fast, you know, on the 2 stop. So congratulations to them for. I think they got a 1-2. So I'm happy with the podium. I think that's just what I was aiming for. So.
Yeah. Just final question. Right now, if I'm not mistaken, your team is ahead of the standings, of the constructor standings. Thiago Santos has shown quite a solid pace in the races. He has been able to show up. What are your objectives in the final 2 races of the season? Are you gonna try and keep that constructors, or what? Because the McLaren are looking quite strong.
Yeah, I don't know I don't know how big the gap is, but obviously
17 points is the gap. Your advantage, Haas's advantage.
Okay, so I'll just tell Thiago to show up the last 2 races, and we'll do our best. I mean, it's pretty hard to race against those two with just one car, obviously. So if he shows up, I'm pretty sure we can win it.
Well, hopefully you'll be able to deliver a good show on the last 2 races, and we'll see a good fight for the constructors, which generally most of the people don't give that relevance to it, but I think it's gonna be a good ingredient for the final races. So hopefully we'll get a good show on that, and yeah, just congratulate you once again on the title. And if Kevin doesn't have any more questions, do you have any question for him?
No, obviously just congratulations on the title, well deserved, of course. Didn't quite get maybe not a win. Maybe you would have preferred a win to take it in style, but on the podium at least got to spray some champagne. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. Gracias, Paco.
Nada, hombre.
Well, yeah, that has obviously been IRL F2 here for round 10. Next race, ironically, with the host leaving, it says it right there. Italy is next week, the Temple of Speed. Certainly going to be seeing a lot of overtakes, certainly more than we saw today, hopefully with a few more drivers as well. But
at least I will be racing, so that's one more.
Yeah, you will be. Hopefully for your sake you don't get another penalty point. But
on FP.
Yeah. But obviously next week Monza, hopefully that's a good fight. Hopefully McLaren and Haas are close, so we can get a bit of a fight there as well. But that has been myself and Paco for today, and maybe we'll see you next week. Just depends on Lordy, and goodbye.